Thank you guys so much for coming to this proof party for Mike and Jess from Microgreens for Profit. Before you were working with Mike and Jess, what were some of the things that you were struggling with?
Well, I think the first challenge is just learning how to do it. There's only so much that somebody will show you. There's a great level of gatekeeping, I would say, that's out in even on YouTube. That there's only so much information people are willing to share with you for free, and and a lot of it can be wrong information too. So that's where I think it's really awesome that we get to be mentored by people who are literally in the field. They're actively growing and selling in markets that a lot of us are aspiring to get to eventually. So, they're giving us very real world, things that they're actually doing like right now, so if they have
in a detailed way.
Yes.
It gets down to the details.
Yeah, there's no gatekeeping, which is awesome. So they literally start you at the beginning, which is how to actually grow, because that's your first challenge is, how do you grow it, and how do you grow it in your specific climate? Because growing in Florida is going to be different than growing in Arizona, where it's a lot drier. So everybody's going to have different challenges.
Okay.
Demographically or geographically speaking.
Yeah, I like the fact that they can take anybody that's small scale, medium scale, or large scale and work with that person. So we do have a mix of individuals. And also, I'm in my second year of growing. Some people are in, maybe their third or fourth year, or even have been doing this for 4 or 5 years. And we're all still learning together, and they do a great mentorship. No matter who it is, they're embracing those people that come in to work with them. And again, to Lorena's point, just an open book. They share everything there is to know about best practices, how to get your microgreen business up and running and thriving just like they're doing.
Right. Cool. And I'm curious about specifically, what kinds of things were you guys having difficulty with figuring out on your own before working with Mike?
For me, I think it was really getting a good yield within my microgreen tray itself. So I'm in Ohio, so I have a very different season, in the summer and then in the winter. And now I've been able, with their support, to figure out what do I need to do differently this winter season that I've never done before. So I need to, I had to learn from them how to actually get my atmosphere more consistent within my grow room. So it's keeping those temperatures, keeping that humidity at a constant, not realizing I need humidity in my home. My home gets so dry that I need humidity. Versus on the flip side, in the summertime, I need a dehumidifier. So I have too much humidity because we're always running the air conditioner. So again, just techniques that I had never learned on my own, never learned through, watching those YouTube videos, but because of how open they are. And again, just chatting through on the calls that we have on a regular basis, figuring out that is something that's needed, in my location.
Did you guys have any hesitations before working with Mike? Was there anything that you were like, I don't know if this is for me?
Well, I really knew that I wanted a mentor. I was actually actively seeking one out at that time. And I was kind of shopping because Mike and Jess are not the only folks around who are offering a mentorship. And so I found out about them through YouTube, actually, because they do have a YouTube channel. And I went to one of their calls that they you ask for an invite to. And it was through that where I literally was just like, tell me what makes you different. How are you different from this business or this business? And why should you're asking for the the same kind of financial backing. The costs were similar, But I was like, so what makes you different? And the community is huge, because that's what's so awesome is while Mike and Jess may know how to grow to a science in Illinois, they there's other people who live in Florida like I do, who are struggling with the same types of things that I am. And together as a group, even if Mike and Jess don't know the answer, somebody may offer some feedback in that group, and it really, really helps be able to have those other people to have as a sounding board, because then it might even jog something that Mike and Jess have already figured out and be like, oh, maybe you should try this. So I think that's really something that sets our group apart, or this group apart, than the other groups. So I was hesitant in the very beginning. I was like, why should I go with you? Why should I give you my money instead of, somebody else? And that was a huge selling point. And the other thing that is it's worth its weight in gold, in my opinion, is the weekly live Q&A calls that we have, where you can literally get on the phone with Mike, or on the video, I should say, with Mike and Jess, and literally just say, hey, I'm having this problem. And you can get on there live, and you can bring your tray, or you can describe what an issue you're having down to the very, detail. And I just don't think you would get that anywhere else. So I'm very, very, very happy that I decided to go with them.
Awesome. This kind of feeds off that question a bit, I guess, but what's it like to be working with Mike and Jess? Like, what kind of things, what's it like working with them as people? What kind of things do they help you with?
They've helped me immensely. One big thing that I stated earlier, I really struggle with social media. They actually will hold a meeting once a month for social media presence, talking about different ways to improve on social media, in-depth detail, how to do different things, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, build your website. So for me alone, that was one of the selling points for me. And again, the community's there too. So a lot of people are asking, hey, can someone take a look at my website? What's this look like for my label? So just those things, getting able to get in front of other people, get in front of Jess and Mike, and get their feedback on these important things to sell our microgreens. It's not just about growing them, it's about selling them too. And they definitely help with that level of accomplishment to get your microgreens sold. That's the easy part is growing, like they say. The hard part is selling. So for sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. And Lorena, for you, what have you found working with Mike and Jess? Like, what has your experience been with them personally?
Well, number one, both of them are a hoot. They're great people. They're good people. If I don't mind saying so myself. It's so wonderful that they're not just only available during those live Q&As for questions. If you need something immediately, like something's available and maybe it just didn't get posted yet or something, I can always directly message Mike and say, hey, Mike, where's the live Q&A from this day? I really need to rewatch it, or I need to find that. So they're super responsive, very helpful. Jessica is a wealth of knowledge, like Nancy was saying, in social media, just anything that has to do with the internet, helping us, get ourselves higher up on those Google searches, because, not to sound like a broken record, but like Nancy said, that they literally do say that all the time. The easy part is growing. The hardest part is finding customers. And so that's where, that they've been so helpful in all of those ways. They're an open book when it comes to sources for equipment that we need. so they have lists of with links to the exact products that we need, so that's extremely helpful, especially when you're a beginner. And you just don't know what to buy. You don't know what's good. They've already done all of that hard legwork for us in figuring out, what works and what didn't, because I don't know anybody who's been growing as long as they have, that's in our group. Maybe some folks have, but I'm only starting to begin the very beginning of my second year. And I know that was super helpful having, just that information alone, that, a checklist of things that I needed to be able to go to a farmer's market or a pop-up event, or what works best when you need to go do sampling at a grocery store or something like that. They have lists of all of the things that you may decide or not decide. It's completely up to you, how elaborate you want your setup or your display to look. But these are the things that they've used. So they share that. But another really cool thing, and I know you didn't necessarily ask this, but another really cool thing that I definitely wanted to make sure that I said on this is that I love how they even try to challenge their own methods in certain things, to try to make them even more efficient. So a perfect example is seed soaking times for peas. Like industry standard is 12-hour soak. Well, they experimented with a 4-hour warm water soak, and it was revolutionary. It works, and you don't have to go, oh no, I forgot to start soaking my seeds. It's not the end of the world if you didn't do it the day it was, started the day before. So it's just little things like that they even test, and they're doing it for us. And what's so nice is that they share their discoveries. If something, Mike loves to experiment. So it's how I try to hook him into doing different things sometimes, is because he loves to see like different varying results, if we do this way, but it's all the same seed or something like that. So
cool. I'd love to know also, like, what kind of success have you guys been having working with Mike and Jess? Like, what kind of results are you getting from actually working with them through their programs?
Well, the number one result is definitely yield. They have come across something, whether it was accidental, because they had some innovations on their farm, but just the amount of soil that I'm now using in my trays, even though I'm still using my exact same soil, I'm yielding even more than I was, because I changed up the amount of soil I was using in my tray because of something they discovered on accident, because they bought a machine that fills the trays for them, instead of them, hand measuring it or hand scooping it themselves. So I started playing around with it, and it worked for me too, even though I'm not using the same soil as they are.
I think for me too, I know I've pretty much doubled my business. I got into a second market. That was actually one of my deciding factors, was when I came on board, how much am I going to be able to utilize them, piggyback off of some of the things they're already doing, market some other items even, so that was a big win for me, going into a second market, not only having microgreens, but they also do popcorn on the side, healthy popcorn. That's something I got into right away as well. It grows great with the microgreens. So again, I was able to like double sales this year, which was phenomenal for me. I really appreciate the fact that, as we're learning from them, and again, they have that wealth of knowledge, they're always sharing with us. And if we have a problem with something and they've not experienced it yet, they always even research it with us. They want to find out the nooks and crannies about, why do we have, maybe an outbreak of the gnats or something in the grow space? What is it that's going on in the soil? So they're always, up to date on things. And if not, they're doing that research to really help you out and dig deeper so you can figure out what your solution should be.
Cool. Um, so I guess the last thing that I'd really love to know is if somebody's considering working with Mike and Jess, if they're not really sure, but they want to get started with microgreens, what would you say to them?
I would suggest to go ahead and get on the platform. You know, there is a free platform that they do support, which is a great way to get started. You can see from there, you can go, they often have on a weekly basis or biweekly basis, some grow along, some videos that they're doing. Jump in on those, ask your questions there and then get more acquainted with them. Once you start to build that rapport with them and you understand how they're there to help you, and you understand their membership level, hands down, there's no reason not to join, not to go in and do it. It is a great value. There's a lifetime membership that they sometimes offer. That's a great value. That's when I got in. I really think that you're foolish not to, because again, this is something that I know they're in it for the long run. I'm here too. And it's just made a world of difference for me.
I would absolutely say hands down, do it. Yes, it's going to be an investment, but anything worthwhile is. And the reason I would say to go ahead and do it is because you don't know what you don't know, and you have no idea how in depth their program it goes into, and how much time and money it will save you, because you won't have to do all that research because they already did it and it's there, and you don't have to buy the wrong trays because they already did it and they said no, these are the best trays, so you're not going to have, it's going to save you money in the long run is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm just saying, absolutely. It's one of the best purchases that I've actually made in my microgreens company, in my business. I would not be here right now if it wasn't for them. And the only reason I say that is because, again, there's just so much gatekeeping that goes on. And it's like, you can watch all the YouTube videos that there are out there in the world, and they're still not going to tell you how to do this. They're not going to give you the nitty gritty, super specific details that you really need to know. And again, it's like Nancy said, like, she didn't know about the humidity levels. Nobody talks about that in YouTube videos, and I'm the same way. I never would have known, had it not been for them, that was something that I even needed to keep an eye on myself. So again, the resources are there. The wealth of information is there, and it'll be the best money that you invest in your business.
Cool. Thank you guys both for being here. It was really nice to speak with you, and all the best with your microgreens adventures.